the Bowels of Netflix, where your fearless co-hosts Isaac and Larry force each other to watch the worst pieces of shit on Netflix. We will go over every bad edit, all the broken dialogue, all the wooden acting, and laugh along the way, because this is the Bowels of Netflix! Alright, welcome to the Bowels of Netflix. I'm Isaac, and with me, as always, is my fearless co-host, Larry. How are you doing this week, Larry?
I am great. I'm feeling a little bit like, Rocky Road. I'm feeling like Rocky Road ice cream.
Rocky Road ice cream. So like a little nutty, a little marshmallowy.
I usually have a bit at the beginning of this, but I really have nothing. I don't...
Is Rocky Road your go-to?
No, I'm more... I guess I'm a cookies and cream guy. Or Moose Tracks.
Moose Tracks is good. Chocolate chip cookie dough is like the go-to, but I like to experiment.
I don't like the dough.
Who doesn't like cookie dough? What are you, Satan?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Satan...
I came out of a hell portal on Mars, and then I fought the Rock.
Now, this week, I have an impending feeling of something, but I don't know what it is.
Sexual ecstasy.
No, I'd never have that.
Mania.
Sexual mania or just mania?
Both.
Well, yeah, both. Okay, fair.
I mean, sexual mania is just mania while you're rock hard.
Okay, so I just have sexual mania then.
I usually have a bit. I don't. I thought I had a bit about The Rock. I couldn't remember any of his wrestling finishing moves.
The People's Elbow,
and
come
the
on.
Rock Bottom. Yeah, they came to me a minute after I did the Rocky Road bit, but, too late.
That's his new, when he comes back again, the Rocky Road's going to be his new finishing move.
Oh, by the way, Cena has a sick move with Doom now. We're going to talk about that in Wrestling Corner at some point.
Oh, God. Speaking of Doom, that is the movie. That's the impending feeling I have, is of Doom, the 2005 movie that the Bowels of Netflix is covering today. So we're going to get into that shortly. Yeah, if this is your first episode of the Bowels of Netflix, we are a couple of crazy assholes, wild and crazy guys, who force each other to watch the worst movies they can find on Netflix.
Yes,
this week, Larry...
and not Amazon Prime. Not ever again.
Are you still recovering from director's
We're not
cut?
going to talk about that. We're going to move on to better things. Like
Have you been held hostage by a director, Larry?
I don't want to remember that movie existed. So we're going to move right on past it to the sweet, warm, slightly pungent bowels of Netflix where I belong.
If you'd like to engage us on the death of society, otherwise known as social media, that's Twitter and Facebook. Those are both at Bowels of Netflix. And you could send us an email, bowelsofnetflix@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the show. If you've seen any of these movies and you have personal experiences, if you loved them, if you hated them, either way, it'd be great to hear what you think. And if we've deeply offended you, please tell us why, because we're sorry. We try, but we're sorry.
Yeah, we really do try to not offend people. I mean, obviously, I'm sure we've offended... If any movie makers who have listened to this, I'm sure they'd be offended, but
yeah.
We don't want to offend our fans.
The thing for me is... It's especially because we're old friends, so a lot of times we'll just shoot the shit and we know each other very well. Yeah. So we know we're not honestly... we know we're terrible people, but not really terrible people.
Right. I'm a terrible person, but I would still help a stranger out of a burning car,
exactly.
At the risk of my own safety.
And because it's a podcast, so we're not really doing this live, I kind of forget the fact that anyone in the world could go listen to this, and quite a lot of people have listened to it. Mm-hmm. So... I catch myself making jokes that I probably wouldn't in a public forum, and I was thinking back on it, and I probably shouldn't make jokes about, like, the age of consent in New Jersey being 15. Like, I know why that's funny between you and me, because we both know I wouldn't actually fuck a 15-year-old, because I'm a grown-ass man, and I have a lovely wife.
You're doing it again!
But, this... I gotta learn. It's a process. Okay, so Doom.
Choo-choo. Cuckoo-choo. That's the walrus one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm the walrus. Cuckoo-choo. Oh, my favorite thing. Do you know the story behind the lyrics of that song?
No.
John Lennon found out that English teachers, in an effort to make English class more popular for younger children, or maybe like early teenagers, were analyzing Beatles lyrics in as poetry, basically. Which is fine for something like Blackbird or something like that. Oh, it was talking about race relations. It's about Martin Luther King Jr., all this stuff. And then fucking John Lennon, drugged out egomaniac he was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to rock the craziest shit in the world. We'll see what they do about that in English class. Fucking assholes.
See, I'm not a huge fan of the Beatles music because I think a lot of it's very overplayed. But they are funny dudes.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
absolutely.
I heard John Lennon was like equal parts the coolest dude in the world and equal parts the world's biggest asshole.
Yes, I have heard that as well.
Well, let's not get into Beatles Corner.
We'll do Beatles Corner sometime.
We're going to talk about Doom and probably wrestling, so let's just get the fuck on.
I gotta see if one of the Beatles movies is streaming somewhere and make you watch that.
Oh,
anyway,
God, please no. Please no. Isaac, I'll fucking suck your dick. That's gonna be. I'm gonna use. I
don't know if it's a threat or an offer.
That's the joke.
I'm afraid.
I'm
afraid, and I'm excited. So yeah, this movie came out in 2005. It's based on the very famous, groundbreaking 1993 video game of the same title.
Yes, by John Romero or George Romero.
George Costanza?
No. Okay, so there's the movie maker who made the Dawn of the Dead movies, and there's the guy who made Doom, and they both have Romero is the last name of both. But I can't remember which one's which. So John Romero made Doom, and George Romero made Dawn of the Dead. Okay, I always fuck that up.
And Doom, and I'm not a big video guy, so correct me if I get video game guy. Correct me if I get any of this stuff wrong, but came out in 1993 and revolutionized a lot of things. It was basically the first effective first-person shooter.
Yes, it was
correct?
The first. That is, I'm not like I'm not a huge Doom scholar. But yeah, it was definitely one of the most popular first-person shooters. And it was at the time, it was very revolutionary for being in 3D.
Yeah.
Technically, super, super gigantic nerds will argue that it's fake 3D, which was made in the absolute coolest way possible. But
yeah, I was researching some of that, and that's amazing how they cheated the system to make it work.
It's really cool. There was I watch a couple YouTube series of nerdy shit because I clearly decided I want to die alone with stupid video game knowledge. And there's a YouTube creator who actually is unfortunately passed away. He committed suicide. But he had a really cool video about it. I used to watch his shit for a long time. He had a really cool video about how Doom is not actually in 3D. It's just like really, really well done 2D in like a way that's projected to make it look like 3D. But yeah. But for all intents and purposes, when you're looking at it, it's goddamn 3D. And it was the first real first-person shooter in 3D, and it looks pretty good. Even now, looking at old Doom, it doesn't look bad. And maybe it's because I grew up knowing it existed for so long because it was in 93. But
I had never really seen gameplay, and we were going to try to do a thing where I started playing some of it, and that just sort of fizzled. But I went into YouTube and watched some just gameplay of it a little bit. And, I mean, it obviously looks really dated, but considering it's 25 years ago, it's pretty incredible what it actually looks like. And just thinking about, I mean, this is, still a couple years before N64 with Mario 64 came out, which is where 3D
Mario,
games really...
Yeah, Mario 64 still looks good, but I mean, it's polygonal as hell. Doom looks... And we're talking like PC Doom. This is where we're going to get into... I don't know if this ever was really actually come up on this show before, but I'm a pretty big nerdy gamer. I play a lot of video games. I play a lot of older RPGs, so Doom was not something I've played it, but not for any extended period of time. I probably played a grand total of 4 hours my whole life. There's also it's been ported a million times. It was on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, which for those of you who aren't our probable listener base, those were video game systems when I was a kid. They were in fierce competition, and they both got ported to there from the PC, but the PC is generally the accepted way that it's the best. And Doom holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts because it was one of the first real PC games to get major attention. To the point where now I lost his name again. John Romero. To the point where John Romero has made levels for the original Doom like 3 years ago. Like people love it. It's been remade, and the remake is supposed to be very, very good, which usually remakes can be kind of hit or miss. But I know it did very well. People really enjoyed it. They said it stuck to the same spirit pretty well. For a game where you honestly did not really have to aim, which that was the part I could never get my head around.
Right, yeah.
It's aiming anyway. Yeah, but let's not get into the deep video game nonsense. But yeah, so Doom is a huge franchise. It's like it's got a lot of notoriety. And now that it was remade, I want to say in 2016. I want to say is when the remake came out. I'm not sure about that though. Yes, 2016. Okay. So now it's kind of come back to the forefront of the more modern gamers' mind, the people who play, the Call of Duties and your Fortnites and your PUBGs, all that stuff that's super popular now. Doom is kind of once again thrown its hat into the ring with like a sort of a good adaptation to revitalize the franchise, and it worked. But Doom as a whole, because this movie was 2005, we're going to be talking about a movie. The movie's 2000, and if I'm shitting down your throat, Isaac, I apologize. I just got down a rabbit hole.
No, yeah. I mean, this is the genesis of the movie. It's important to lay this stuff out at first.
Yeah. So Doom held a very special place in a lot of people's hearts. It was like a lot of people's first favorite game because it was very good. It was very revolutionary, and it was like at a time where it did not really have any competition to be that good. It's also very hard, which nowadays, a lot of games being like first-person shooter games like that being hard, or even games like Dark Souls, which I don't know if you're familiar at all, Isaac, but games that are viciously hard they're in high demand nowadays. And the original Doom games were always pretty rough, and they were good puzzles. So when this movie came out, this was like the culmination of like a big, ooh, hey, they're making a Doom movie. Holy shit.
Right, yeah, and the movie came out 12 years after the original game came out. So it's still, I mean, like, we look back now, and the original Doom comes out 25 years ago. That seems ages ago.
Right.
But this was a lot more recent in people's memory. So people who were playing this game maybe as like a 10-year-old are now like maybe in college and going to see this movie.
Right.
So it's not quite as removed as it is at this point looking backward. One other interesting thing I saw when I was researching the game a little bit was, and kind of an ancillary thing about how it was revolutionary, I think it really helped popularize, I guess, I don't know the terminology because I'm a nerd hack and I'm not any good at this stuff, but I think peer-to-peer sharing, right? Because the first few levels of the game could actually be sent via the internet, I think?
Something like that. Like, yeah, because he would levels and stuff were added, I believe. Yeah, because like I said, I know he just made some within the last couple of years. I'm not really sure about that. I didn't get a chance to look into it because I was not really a PC gamer until pretty recently in my life.
Yeah.
So Doom is a thing that really kind of passed me by. When I was a kid, I played a lot of role-playing games. I didn't really... I played Perfect Dark, which I know I'm talking to thin air with you, Isaac, here. No offense.
Sorry, baby.
No, that's cool. I played Perfect Dark, which is the only real shooter I played, which I absolutely adored. Doom missed me, but yeah, I know it was kind of like the what's the Mystery Science Theater where you could pass the tapes around. You could like pass your Doom levels around or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially in that point in '93, where the internet was not very ubiquitous, or most people didn't really know how to use it.
Not at all.
Or the possibilities that could come with it. I think that, and especially because you said it was the first PC game that really got mainstream attention. And I think the game probably more than a lot of people would acknowledge even, really helped fuel the cultural understanding of, oh, holy shit, this is what computers and the internet can actually do.
Yes.
And I think it was just a big piece of that puzzle that basically were the 1990s. Because you look from 1990 to the year 2000, and just that decade of what the internet was and what it ended up being is such a shift. So
yeah, like I'm just taking a look here at the original Doom's Wikipedia page. It was. I'm looking at different publications here. Just to go through them. Number 5 of best games of all time, 150 best games of all time. Number 44, 100 games of all time. Number 2, top 100 shooters. Number 2. That's from IGN, which they're enormous. What the hell? The Library of Congress? What in the world?
I believe it.
Huh.
It's stored there, I guess, right?
Yeah. Wow. Okay, yeah.
I mean, if you're going to put any games like, what, fucking Pong, Super Mario Brothers, and this, right?
This, yeah.
Just cultural milestones.
That is the perfect way to put it. That's the perfect way to sum up all of this, is that cultural milestone is absolutely 100% right. Doom was a craze that's just struck people.
Yeah, and for maybe kind of our younger listeners, I think Halo was like the next generation of that. Because I remember being in high school and Halo was fucking everywhere, and I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's not as revolutionary necessarily. It's kind of the next step in first-person shooter.
I would say that's absolutely, because the Halo series, it's kind of it's fallen a little bit from its spot now because it's competing with the big thing now is Fortnite.
Oh yeah, and I've been seeing that on Reddit, and I'm like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, it doesn't interest me. And games like PUBG, which are very big multiplayer games, it's interesting but vaguely to me. Halo was huge. I would say that, Halo would be a good sort of successor, especially because of the multiplayer aspect. I don't know if Doom was multiplayer. I'm not sure. I should.
Don't think so, at least in its first iteration now.
Okay. But it's cultural significant, very, very much so. It's like on the level of like a Tetris or, like you said, a Super Mario Brothers.
Yep, and so culturally significant, they made a movie of it. And that's unfortunately what we're here to really discuss today. And I was happy to not talk about it, but I guess we have to. So this movie came out in the year of our Lord 2005. IMDb, as we've seen before, skews high. This one's still not that great, though. It's sitting at a 5.2. So, not a good sign. And Rotten Tomatoes, the critic aggregated score has it at a 19%, which is fairly low for us. And even the audience aggregated score from Rotten Tomatoes is 34%. So even your crazy rock fanboys who are going on there and spamming it up the charts still can't do too many favors for it, because that's pretty low. And also indicative of its stankiness, its budget was $60 million, which is quite a sizable budget. I mean, not the biggest in the world, but still, it's a good chunk of change. And its worldwide gross came in, according to Wikipedia, at $56 million. So, did not recoup its investment. I guess maybe with DVD sales and now Netflix rights or whatever, they've made some money. But still, generally a flop.
Yeah.
So, and just overall, it's just so... every stupid stereotype of this kind of military, futuristic, sci-fi action shit. It just does them all. It's so bad. So we open up at a research facility on the planet of Mars. We see a bunch of scientists running down dark hallways, very afraid, and there's noises, something's chasing them, whatever. The guys in the back keep getting eaten by unseen monsters. The lead scientist, I forget his name, Carmichael Studebaker, something like that. He runs through a doorway and he's pressing the button to close the door, and it's the slowest closing door in the world, even though it's supposed to be the year 2046. And we already in the year 2018 have doors that can slide closed quickly.
Do we?
It's made me so angry. But the only reason it closes slowly is because there's a pretty lady scientist running to the door screaming, "No! No! Wait, Dr. Studebaker, no!" She reaches her arm out, and it gets snapped up in the door as it closes, and her arm is ripped off and, flops down on the floor while the stupid doctor is horrified, and he radios a mayday signal, I don't know, some crap. And then he says there needs to be a quarantine, and then the door bursts open, revealing a murky-looking monster hiding in the shadows that we only see for a moment. And Larry, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Most of the monsters and scenes of violence take place in the shadows and in darkness, because they didn't want to spend too much money or effort on any practical or CGI effects.
I swear to God, that is a symptom of video game movies. Now, most video game movies are utterly horrible, and I guarantee you're going to be reviewing more in the future.
No, I don't like it.
That is a symptom of them, is because they know they're going to fuck it up. So just put it in the dark.
Now, Larry, if I had to ask you what The Rock's natural state is, how would you describe it?
Okay. Needs to be a little more specific. Listen, Isaac, here's what I know, is that a rolling stone gathers no ivy.
If you were to randomly encounter The Rock at any hour of the day...
He'd be making pancakes, and I'd hate him.
What do you think he'd be wearing?
Muscle shirt and probably very tight pants.
You're close enough with muscle shirt. He is shirtless.
Okay.
Which I define as The Rock's natural state.
That's fair.
But he's sitting at a computer getting his orders.
He doesn't know how to use a computer. Should we talk about The Rock?
Wait, he really doesn't use computers?
No, I just don't like them.
Oh, okay.
All right. I don't really like The Rock, okay? I admit that he's not a bad actor. I don't like him as a wrestler. I don't like his wrestling character at all. And it's spilled, my hatred for that is spilled into my hatred for him as an actor, too. So I just see him and just go, ugh, The Rock.
Yeah. He's very charismatic for sure, and he definitely can act, and he can be in good roles. I mean, he's not fucking Meryl Streep, but, well, maybe he is fucking Meryl Streep. That sounds hot, actually. But, yeah, he can be fun in a role, but most of his roles are this kind of, like, fucking dumb shit. They were movies I just don't want to see anyway, so
yeah, I
usually don't get a whole lot of Rock in my life.
I think this was when he still wrestled.
Yes, 2005 it came out. I think he stopped wrestling in 2004, because I was looking that up. Full time, at least. But he probably filmed it while he was still wrestling.
Yeah.
And his first movie was The Scorpion King, which is the Mummy successor that came out in 2002. So this is real early in his movie career. Well, I guess Scorpion King was his first leading role, but anyway, this is early for sure. So he's sitting at a computer getting orders, and because it's this kind of movie who appeals to this kind of person, the orders include the words, search and destroy. God, I hate it. And The Rock, we see on his shirtless back, has Semper Fi tattooed across his shoulders. Are you familiar with the meaning of Semper Fi and where it is used?
I know it's the Marines' catchphrase? Slogan?
Motto, I guess is the right term.
I was trying to think of a funnier word, but I couldn't. Shit. I used to know what it means. It's going to be mad when you tell me. Just tell me, rather than me sit here and fuck it up.
Always faithful.
Maybe I didn't know what that meant. Doesn't sound familiar.
Well, you learned something new today.
Faithful to what, the country?
I don't know, to the Marine Corps, to your service?
To disparage the Marines motto. I just don't know that I understand that one. I don't know that faithful is the word I would use.
It's used in other, I mean, it's most famously used for the Marines, but it's used in other societies and stuff like that. I think it means to whatever group you're using it in the context of.
I have a goddamn Latin tattoo on my arm like a fucking loser, so who might
you have a cool Latin tattoo on your arm.
I mean, I like it.
I didn't know they had Latin words for pussy muncher.
Yeah, it's actually in Latin, pussy muncher just translates to Larry Beard. It's really funny how that works.
So yeah, it's really weird because you just have your name tattooed on your arm, like it's Memento or something.
Artist. Funny you should say Memento. The tattoo artist just said to me, "You want your own name?" I said, "No, it's Latin for pussy muncher." And she said, "You're a pig."
And then she dropped her pants.
Yeah, I munched her pussy.
It was like, "Wow, me baby."
She was not impressed. She charged me full price for the tattoo.
She was also 63.
That went a direction. So Rock's got Semper Fi on his back.
See, no, we need to write a porn. We got halfway into a porno just there.
Isaac, I do not say this as a joke. I am 100% sure you and I could write a real porn that would be actually good.
Okay, for us to actually write and produce and get into like actual porn might be complicated. But if we wrote porn novels and self-funded them or like self-published kind of thing, I really think we could find a niche. Because that's a thing people do.
You don't mean like 50 Shades of Grey, you mean, or do you?
More or less.
I honestly think we could do that.
But more unabashedly porno, though.
I really think we could do that.
Yeah.
Let's
like
porn. Let's put that into Porn Writing Corner and actually revisit that off the air.
We're gonna
Porn Novel Corner.
So they go to the lengths to have Semper Fi, the Marine Corps motto, tattooed on his back.
Isaac, does The Rock have Semper Fi tattooed on his back?
The actual Rock, I don't know. He wasn't in the Marines, though, was he?
No.
Oh, I don't fucking know.
You've seen the man.
Do you think I know the Rock's tattoos?
Seen the man shirtless.
He's got a Polynesian titty.
You've seen the man shirtless a bunch of times.
Just because I see someone shirtless doesn't mean I read them.
What the fuck? He's got a Polynesian. He does.
Polynesian titty.
Samoan. It's like big titties in Samoans is just a thing.
Well, his tits are nice, but he's got the whole logo.
He's also he's got like the circular like basket. It looks like a basket to me, like the circular tattoo over his like left titty. I think.
That sounds right.
No, I said left.
So, I don't know.
A single gunshot.
Despite their going to the accuracy of we're gonna get the Marine Corps logo tattooed on the Rock, the Rock repeatedly in the movie refers to his Marines as soldiers. Which, if you've ever known a Marine, and Larry, you and I both know someone who went into the Marines. Yes. I haven't talked to him in a long time. I wonder what the hell he's up to. That is deeply offensive, because the Marines tend to view themselves as sort of the elite fighting force, where the Army, where soldiers are colloquially referred to as people of the Army, are referred to as, or the Marines kind of look down on them. Yeah. They're rabble-rousers. I made that mistake a bunch. Yep. So, this movie has already pissed off any Marines that are actually watching it. So there we go. So we see the Rock's ragtag group of misfit Marine soldier whatevers hanging out in the barracks. Two of them are playing baseball indoors with an orange black guy, and the Rock is the only person who gets a name. Everyone else is like some type of guy, because that's all they are. Black guy is the black guy. Mm-hmm. There's technically two black guys, but the one dies really quickly and the other one lasts longer. So black guy is playing an old handheld video game.
He's so sensitive. Written by Stephen King.
And apparently, according to IMDb, the movie goof section, he's holding the game console sideways, because it's some old type, like pre-Game Boy game, where you were supposed to actually flip it 90 degrees to play the specific game that he's playing, so he's playing it wrong, so they fucked that up too.
Isaac, you get it? He's playing a video game, because this is a movie about a video game.
Oh, yeah, man, we'll get to some of that self-referential shit.
Movie makers have their thumb on the pulse, Isaac. They always do. Video game movies are always super faithful to their adaptations.
You know what? I wish Penn Jillette would make a video game movie. I feel like that'd be good.
Yeah, and I would make you watch it before you made me watch it, because if you make me watch one of his movies, I'm going to kill myself on air. Kids, if you're having suicidal thoughts, I want you to talk to somebody. You can talk to me. You can email balsandnetflix@gmail.com. We'll talk.
Okay, so Creepy Guy says he can't wait to get on vacation and lock himself in a motel room with a bottle of tequila and 3 she-boys. And again, for anyone who's suicidal out there, there's always that option too. She-boys, tequila.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of options in that sort.
There's solutions to problems. I'm just saying.
You know what? Hey,
you can always find a way.
I actually really like that, because 2005, that's really progressive for 2005.
It kind of is, and I don't think they intend it, but there's a small chance they were super progressive with transgender stuff, but I don't think so. I really don't.
Probably not.
I think it's just them being idiots about science.
Especially for like The Rock, who is, this is dipping a toe into wrestling corner. This is the Attitude Era of WWE/F. I don't know. I think in 2005 it was E. This is, we're just getting out of the Attitude Era, where it was like, yeah, we're manly men and we want to fuck lady pussy holes and screw the gays. The gays are the worst. I'm The Rock. I just want to squeeze titties, and Ric Flair's fucking all bitches everywhere. So this is kind of progressive for 2005, a movie about a video game starring a wrestler, because the video game community has always been sort of backwards when it comes to, how to be progressive.
To be fair, I'm not sure. I mean, I'll give him some brownie points, but the guy who says this is the creepy guy. So he's and he's the only guy who actually kind of acts well. Because he's got like a southern accent. I can't wait to lock myself in a motel room with a bottle of tequila and 3 she-boys.
Okay, see, now you sound like one of Henry Zabrowski's from last podcast on the left serial killer voices. So yeah, it's all ruined. Never mind.
Yeah, and he's got like creepy, messy teeth and like long, greasy ass hair. And he just overacts it and he's a caricature, but it's kind of fun. It's got like almost a Deliverance-y sort of vibe, or just like creepy, dirty Southern guy gonna get those she-boys. So
I wanted to like it for being progressive, but yeah, it's ruined now. Carry on.
And Tough Guy catches the orange that the guys are playing baseball with one hand. He's all like, just puts his hand out, catches it, and he says, "Hey, creepy guy, I'm sick of your filth. I like Jesus," or something. I don't know. He likes Jesus. We'll find out more later. Oh, The Rock shows up and says, "Okay, we're not going on vacation because we have a game."
It's not what he says.
It's what he says.
"Hey guys, let's go. Hey, Mr. The Rock, you should say it's a game. It's me, the director, because this is a movie based on a video game. Did you ever play Doom?" I want to go back in time to the set of Doom the movie, and I want to see a show of hands for who in that room has played more than 2 minutes of Doom.
I think The Rock said he tried to play Doom and he got nauseous.
The man flipped and zipped and zopped around a wrestling ring for many years. He shucked and jived more than Marlon Wayans.
You've managed to say chucking and jiving in every episode. I don't know how.
I don't. Is that racist? That's a real question.
I wouldn't have guessed so, but now that
I always tend to say it about Marlon Wayans, and now I'm starting to secretly worry that I'm racist.
Well, you said The Rock chucked and jived. He's Polynesian or Samoan. Yeah, there you go. They're white, right? What do they count as? Or is it just Pacific Islander? Right, that's a whole different category on the checkbox.
So,
cool.
By the way, for those of you who would hear the word Samoa and have no idea what it means, the Isle of Samoa...
It's the Girl Scout cookie that's the most delicious.
Okay, yeah. The Isle of Samoa has precisely 2 exports. Coconuts and professional wrestlers. And it sounds like I'm making a joke, but I swear to fucking Christ I am not.
He's not wrong. Okay, so they're not going on vacation because they have a game. They're going to Mars.
I can't think of the Doom music. I keep wanting to start jump into the Doom music, but all that comes into my head is the Terminator 2 music, which is way more epic than this piece of shit deserves.
Yes. Okay, so when I was naming people, I was kind of going hot and loose with it. So because The Rock and this other guy are sort of the main protagonists, and we'll see what happens with that later. But I called him Cute Dude because when I first saw him on screen, I was like, "Oh, he's cute." Oh. Turns out his name is Carl Urban.
Wait, that's the character's name?
No, that's the actor.
I know that.
He's from New Zealand.
I know that name.
He was in Lord of the Rings.
He's Elmer, isn't he?
No, he doesn't play Elmer Fudd. He plays Eomer or whatever.
You managed to steal the wind right out from under my sails there. I want to be mad, but I'm actually really impressed.
But he played that role.
Yeah, it's a good role. I like Eomer.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's in this movie, and he's going to be known as Cute Dude, because apparently I thought he's cute. Just looking at his pictures on Google, if you've ever seen Parks and Rec, he looks like Ben Wyatt, but with 50% more testosterone. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. I wouldn't know that I'd call him cute, but I'd say he's handsome in a rugged way.
But in this movie in 2005, when he's younger than the pictures you see of him now, I don't know. I thought he was cute. You know when you hogtie someone and their calf and their hamstring kind of crease together and you could fuck that? That's all I was thinking about when I was watching him on screen. Yeah, so cute. But yeah, so The Rock goes up to Cute Dude and he's like, "Hey, we're Marines. I'm a Marine, you're a Marine. I got Semper Fi tattooed on my back. You should probably stay home, because this is a mission to Mars, and that might be challenging for you." And then Cute Dude looks all sad and And then we cut immediately to Cute Dude boarding the ship with the rest of the team and exchanging a badass look with The Rock. And the subtext is "Oh, you're so badass. You're coming even though it's going to be difficult for you?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm a real soldier. I mean, Marine, fuck." Okay, and The Rock says, "How long's it been?" 10 years. Are you sure she's still even up there? I guess you gotta face your demons sometime.
Should we actually talk about the plot of Doom, the video game, very briefly?
Yeah, I guess they're in hell killing demons, right?
Well, it's like they find a portal to hell on Mars that they're like using for energy or some shit, and demons come out of it and like kill a bunch of Marines and turn them into zombies, and then also actual demons from hell. It's like it starts off on Mars and ends up in hell. That's what I know. I also know the protagonist's name is
the
Doom
demon
Guy.
Jokes are.
I think it's John Doom Guy, and I don't think I'm being funny.
That's pretty good. And another line from The Rock, I think they jump off the helicopter, swinging their big guns around.
Or are they on Mars?
They're not on Mars yet. They're still
on Earth. Okay, I wasn't sure where they were.
He says, "Look alive, boys. It's game time."
Kids.
We're so aware that we're making a video game movie.
Video games are so cool, guys.
So the guns they're wielding are so cartoonishly big, I can't believe it. It's preposterous. They must have been made out of styrofoam. Otherwise, I don't know how even The Rock would
That
lift
was
them.
a big reason of why I chose this movie. Because looking at the Netflix clips, just of the gigantic, ridiculous guns.
It's so stupid. You haven't even seen the biggest gun.
Which I believe I know the name of, if I remember my Doom lore correctly.
I hate you. I hate you all. Okay. So the team goes to the Ark, which is basically a warp drive to Mars, which makes you barf.
Okay.
Whatever. They show up at the entrance to the Ark and find...
So how many people we got here? I'm curious.
The team is like 10 to 12. Okay. And they don't all get names, because there's like the extra black guy who gets killed really quickly. Yeah. And then there's the cool black guy who hangs around. And then there's Asian dude who doesn't really do anything, but dies later. And there's a couple just...
Black guy, Asian
extraneous
dude,
people.
Indian bro.
There's young dude who you haven't seen who's kind of relevant.
Pacific Islander, generic friend. I'm running out of names for man.
So yeah, the team of Marines goes through the Ark. A couple of them barf. They show up. They fast travel to Mars and find a guy who's only his top half is there and his bottom half is like attached to his wheelchair. Mm-hmm. He's not in a wheelchair. He's hooked up to it. It's all one piece. He's like, "Oh yeah, you got to be careful when you're going through the Ark." And then one of the goons says, "Yeah, he got sent to one galaxy and his ass got sent to another." Am I right? It's great. Good writing. Good jokes. So funny. So they're at the facility at Mars, and the science lab where all the shit from the very beginning of the movie went down is quarantined. But there's a bunch of other research people just kind of living their lives up there. It looks like there's probably several hundred. And they're kind of milling around the common area near the Ark. Creepy dude goes around to all the ladies and says, "We're under level 5 quarantine, so I'm just going to have to go ahead and strip search you." And eventually The Rock is like, "Hey, cut that out, you creepy dude. It's fucking stupid." So we get introduced to pretty blonde scientist who apparently has to tag along with the team to retrieve the important data. But the team doesn't want her to come along because she's a sticky, icky girl.
Yeah, girls are gross.
So, seriously. Especially their pussies. Fucking wet bullshit.
No, that's the other hole.
Wait, you like the butthole?
Look, I like ladies. What is wrong with me?
Yeah, they start looking around for monsters, and we get padding screen time, long shots for minutes at a time of them splitting up and sweeping different hallways with the flashlights on the end of their guns, just going around corners and nothing happens. Creepy dude and someone else, I forget who, one of the extraneous ones, end up in a lab where organs are grown in big vats and beating hearts are being produced.
Cool.
And we get a jump scare from a monkey in a cage, and then we see a bunch of caged dogs start barking too.
So every horror movie ever.
Pretty much. The Rock and Black Dude get to the weapons lab. The Rock sees a computer screen that says Bioforce Gun, or BFG for short, which, as we all know, actually stands for Big Friendly Giant. The Rock tries to get in the Advanced Weapons Lab, but he lacks the DNA clearance to do so. So he's all sad now because he can't get the big Bioforce gun.
He lacks. What the fuck does that mean? Lacks.
He puts his hand. He puts his hand in like a scanny thing.
Oh,
it's like you lack the DNA.
So he's
clearance.
not. They need like Pretty Blonde Scientist or some shit.
Yeah, it's almost like if the movie had established a severed hand earlier, then it would come up later. Funny. So, Scientist Lady and Cute Dude are apparently brother and sister. And apparently their parents were archaeologists who died in a weird mishap on Mars, and they were children living there on Mars, but Scientist Lady has stayed there, and now she's an archaeologist, but he's a Marine. And she says the line to him that I can't believe. Does it ever bother you that you could have spent your life looking at a microscope instead of a sniper scope? Fuck's sake, Larry.
So, was he a promising archaeologist, or is she just being a bitch?
I don't know. We don't get it. That line is the character development.
What kind of line is that?
It rhymes, Larry.
You can't rhyme if it's the same word.
No, microscope and sniper scope are different words.
Shut the fuck up.
So Scientist Lady reveals they found skeletons of humanoids on Mars, but they have 24 pairs of chromosomes instead of 23, which makes them immune to disease, and their cells replicate 50 times faster, meaning they heal almost instantly. Of course. Okay.
Question.
Yes, sir.
I this is not me trying to make an insensitive joke. I really don't know. What is Down syndrome related to chromosomes?
Down syndrome, and I actually know this in more detail than I should because I don't know anyone with Down syndrome, but it's trisomy 21, so it means the 21st chromosome, instead of having 2 pairs, there's 3 of them.
Okay. So it's an extra chromosome and an extra pair of chromosomes. So
yes,
these Mars humans are an extra pair of chromosomes. Okay.
Right. They have a whole new chromosome instead of just an extra copy of half a pair of a chromosome that fucks shit up.
Fair enough. I actually did not know that, so I didn't, yeah.
My college education's paying off. I know about Down syndrome. Yay.
Hey, look, you knew more than I did.
That was worth $80,000.
Well, the important thing is you're using it now.
Yeah, they're making all the money. At one point, Black Dude asks if Scientist Lady and Cute Dude are identical twins. Science alert! Identical twins, having split from the same zygote, necessarily have to be born the same sex. Now, it is possible that the Doom movie was far ahead of its time, and it was incredibly progressive.
Oh, is this what you're talking about? No, you're wrong.
Because while born of the same sex, one of the characters could be transgender. And they just don't bother addressing it. Because they don't need to. Because they've chosen how to live their lives, and that doesn't need to be part of the viewer's experience.
See, I hope for that to be a thing before I die. That phenomena to be where it can just be a thing and not be part of a story.
But are you saying that's not 2005 Doom?
I'm going to go out on what we call here at the Bowels of Netflix a limb and assume that is not in fact the case. I mean,
we should start taking credit for colloquialisms.
Have you not?
You heard it first here on the Bowels of Netflix. We're going to go out on a limb.
Have you not been doing that? I've been doing that since episode 1. In my head, anyway. Look, I decided at some point I'm going to treat the Bowels of Netflix as if we are the very beginnings of comedy and entertainment. Like, everything else comes after this.
Who's on first?
What's on second?
Third base.
Shit, we should learn the bit.
It's a long bit.
It really is. I used to know all of it, and when I was trying to impress a girl in high school, I learned all of it.
That's the way to a woman's heart.
It worked. We dated for 3 years. I took her to prom.
Damn. I didn't know that part.
We went to a Husto Yama's concert, and another dude and I were doing that all day, and she was part of it. Yeah, it's the whole thing. That's so yes, great. I did at one point know the entire Who's on First. I do not remember it anymore. I also knew all of the Raven. That was just because I thought I was clever when I was in 5th grade. I was not.
I started trying to memorize it, and then I got tired of it. I got like 3 stanzas in.
Yeah.
But that's such a fun poem to read.
It is.
Like a few months ago, I think, like I was just sitting around with fucking nothing to do, so I just pulled that up on my phone and just sat there by myself and read it out loud.
It's great.
It was like, oh my god, that's fun.
Yeah, it's good times. But anyway,
I really want to go. Like, you know how everyone probably should go to old folks' homes and, like, be nice and do service and, like, read the Bible to little old people? I just want to go, like, just dressed in full goth shit and just sit by people's bed who are too old and weary to move and just read The Raven. Like, the creepiest Vincent Price voice possible.
It's demented. Do you have a Vincent Price?
No, not exactly. I'd have to sit down and work on it. Do you?
I don't, but Dan Harmon does, and I listen to him a lot. Spiders and ghosts in every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. I don't really have one.
Oh, you've got the essence of it. Just need some tweaking.
Yeah.
And by that I mean meth.
Tweaking hard. So we were talking about The Rock and Doom. Two of my favorite things.
God, the worst. Okay, so
I have one follow-up that's actually legitimate follow-up to your transgender thing. I really do hope that is a thing we reach in our time. But yeah, there's no way that Doom actually is saying, oh, one of these characters is transgender, and we're totally fine with that. Not in a movie where one is an attractive blonde. I assume she's attractive.
Yeah.
Attractive blonde scientist, traditionally attractive, and gun-toting, gung-ho space marine. Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably not. But I think in our lifetimes, we're going to get to a point where that is a thing that's just okay. I know it's not yet, though, because in season 3 of BoJack Horseman, they just go to a lesbian wedding. Just as part of the episode, and it's never touched upon. She's like, oh, this is a wedding for 2 women. And I remember watching that and thinking, oh, that's kind of cool. And then when I went on to Google that day, there was 3 articles about it. And I said, well, you fucking ruined it.
Right, yeah.
Writing an article about it ruins it.
Yeah.
And shit like that is why I hate the Huffington Post, just as much as I hate Fox News. It's the Fox News are liberals, but that's a different story. Anywho, that got off a tangent. But yeah, I think that in our lifetimes we're going to see a point where, like, you know, all these things that have been societal taboos that are starting to slowly become more and more the norm are just going to be accepted, which is kind of awesome. That's going to happen in our lifetime.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how quickly a lot of it has happened. Mm-hmm. And I was just talking to an older guy the other day who I just met, and he was just talking about, he was growing up in the 50s, and this is a person who's still alive. It boggles my mind, honestly, because I don't really think about it. But yeah, just growing up in the 50s, just the role of a woman was you stay home, you cook and keep the house clean, and you bear and raise the children, and that is what is expected of you, and that's what 95% of you do.
Yeah.
And it's just baffling how in a couple generations that has completely shifted to, I don't know, whatever gender roles we want to do, man. I mean, it's not like sexism is over or anything like that, but just the choices women have now are so much better. They're not perfect, but they're so much better than they used to be when our grandparents were our age. Which is incredible, honestly, how fast that's happened. Yeah. Anyway, we're going off on crazy tangents.
Anything to not talk about the movies is always always the point we get to.
So the scientist Carmack, I think that's his name, not Studebaker. Anyway,
I like Studebaker.
It's a good name for a scientist.
It is.
He's Studebaker, whatever. He shows up running around like a maniac and gets confronted by the team. He behaves like a cornered animal and rips his own ear off with his bare hand. And is just screaming and whimpering and all.
Does he mail it to his girlfriend?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, Mike Tyson bit it off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do we have any more ear jokes we can make? I think we've made literally both of them.
There needs to be a third guy with an ear situation. Because rule of threes.
All right.
Maybe that's one of our futures.
On the 100th episode of Bowels of Netflix, we'll flip a coin, loser cuts off an ear, and we become the third ear joke.
That sounds good to me. Deal. All right.
Vincent Van Gogh, dude... Mike Tyson, Isaac Early.
Creepy dude and young dude are I don't want to. You want to talk about sexism?
Yeah. I like it in the pump. Oh, sexism. Oh.
How progressive.
Sexism. Oh. Yeah. I mean,
yes.
Yeah, it's bad.
Sexgism. When you have sex, it makes jism.
It's funny how you talked about how to not try to offend anybody, and then that's all we seem capable of doing. Oh, God.
Well, we should offend the deaf, because they're not listening.
You offended me with that joke, so I think it evens out now.
To be fair, on a podcast, we could probably get away with it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, young dude asks creepy dude if he has any. Creepy dude gives young dude a couple of pills. So,
Viagra's.
Drugs, yay. Guess what? This never has a payoff.
What?
There's no payoff.
But
I know. It's the perfect setup to young dude fucking something up later, or getting himself killed because he's high, or getting someone else killed. But there's never a payoff. The only thing, at some point later, cute dude sees young dude's eyes are dilated and yells at him for being high. But there's never consequences of his drug use.
But then why have it?
I don't know.
Why have it?
Because you're just checking the fucking boxes. Action movie, space movie, marine movie. Someone's gotta be on drugs.
Fucking goddamn it.
So cute dude and tough dude are patrolling. Tough dude accidentally knocks a barrel down a flight of stairs, makes a whole bunch of noise, and he mutters under his breath, "God damn it." And naturally, when you take the Lord's name in vain, you pull out a giant hunting knife and carve a cross into your own forearm.
I'm sorry, what?
Which, speaking of which, because I said "God damn it," and I said it again. I said it twice, so you're going to have to give me a couple minutes. Right. I got to carve crosses into my forearms.
Folks, he's got a butter knife that he has a Post-it note that has hunting written on it with quotation marks, like he doesn't even believe it himself.
Ow! It's sharp!
He's using the blunt end.
Jesus died for my sins. Black dude
Jesus
and scientist
lives in
lady.
Missouri with Tupac.
Black dude, scientist lady take crazy scientist Studebaker, as we affectionately know him, without an ear to the medical room, or whatever, I don't know, doctor's office, lounge, vape lounge.
Vape lounge.
He loses his mind and grabs scientist lady and pulls her into his face and whispers, "Shut it down!" over and over and over again. So, yeah, creepy, I don't know, whatever. It's supposed to be scary. It's not. It's stupid. Cute dude and tough dude double back to where all the animals were in cages, but only a few scenes ago, only to find that all the animals are dead. And then a moment later, they find another scientist. This one is starting to get demonified. He's turning into a demon, but he's still recognizable as a scientist. He's got a lab coat on. And we see him eating a live rat. And the only thing about this movie that I found remotely gross or creepy or unsettling, he slurps the rat tail up like spaghetti. Yeah, I know. Ugh. And then he grabs a knife and starts charging the Marines, and they shoot him dead.
As you do.
Scientist lady analyzes Studebaker's blood and finds some weird shit in it, like big, murky, black stuff. I don't know. Then she injects the blood into the computer, or whatever you do in the future, and the computer says, sorry, that's not a match to anyone. I don't know.
I don't know why that's so funny. Injected into the computer. No, stop, Stephanie. Why are you doing this?
I did not think that's what you meant by blood drive.
You're fired. Now hiring new co-hosts.
Please don't be punny. Oh, I'm so sorry. The computer says no match found. When she goes back to check on Studebaker, his gurney is empty. Oh my gosh. Tension.
Uh-oh.
Tough dude is walking around in the sewer, doing the flashlight thing around the corners with a bunch of other dudes. I don't know, whatever. There's a demon with a bunch of eyes, pops out of nowhere, and it ejects a worm tongue onto the tough dude, hits him in the neck, and he's dead.
The crosses in his arm didn't save him, huh?
Nope, not one bit. So the team tells everyone who's still milling around in the main area of the facility that they need to evacuate back to Earth via the Ark because there's some weird-ass shit going on. They try to save Tough Dude in the medical center. They do the whole defibrillator, shock him, clear thing, which is all bullshit anyway, but he still dies. Everyone has evacuated back to Earth at this point, except the team of soldiers, and Scientist Lady. She's doing experiments on a monster corpse they have recovered, and the power starts flickering. So the team has gone off, and they're doing more search and destroy shit.
So at this point, how many monsters have they killed?
Two. Well, they killed one real monster, and then one scientist turning into a monster.
Okay. You know what you do? All you do in the Doom the video game? You just shoot monsters.
Yeah. We'll get a lot of monster killing later.
I mean, I'm aware it's an adaptation, but just maybe it didn't need an adaptation then. You know?
Oh, it did not.
Maybe it just didn't. Maybe I'm going out on a limb here. It's almost like,
you heard it first. Out on a limb, Bow's on Netflix.
That's right. Maybe it's just me, but I think video games are pretty much good on their own. I don't think they need any other adaptations. I think they're fine just the way they are. I don't think there's any stories that need to be told still that aren't told within the game themselves, really, if we're talking about it.
Yeah. It's like looking at Pulp Fiction and thinking, well, how do I turn this into a child song?
Right. Well,
it's like,
yeah,
no.
And you know what happens when you turn most movies into video games? They're terrible.
They suck.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
They're wretched. Just don't. If a thing exists as one piece of media, it's generally best like that. Books and movies are an exception, but even them, a lot of times, they're generally not great. One or the other is generally worse.
The only exception would be Kanye West's entire music career is basically an adaptation of a Jackson Pollock painting. I actually like Kanye's music. I just hate him right now because he's insane.
I don't mind his music, but I mean the man.
He's talented. He's just an asshole.
He's just a clown.
Yeah, he really is.
He's not. I don't think any part of him's real.
That's true.
Don't. Yeah.
He's a demon from Doomland. He's Doom Guy.
Doom Guy was a hero. I'll have you know.
Oh right, whatever. God, where the fuck are we? Okay, so
hell.
Yeah,
Mars.
The team is going around search and destroy. Black dude is with scientist lady. They get attacked by a monster. The monster gets stuck inside of a nano wall. Nano wall is like you press a button and the wall turns all shimmery and you can walk through it, press another button, turn solid again. Mm-hmm. So they escape through the nano wall. Monster's coming after them. They turn it off and it gets stuck in the middle of the wall. Okay. But it's still alive and it's like its face and like its fingers are sticking out. It's like, ah.
Creepy. So they shot and killed it then, right?
No.
Of course not.
So we get tons more scenes of guns and flashlights sweeping the sewers and caves and scary ambient noises. At some point, cute dude hears an audio flashback of mirth and delight of his childhood, which is then very abruptly truncated by a landslide crushing his parents to death while his sister screams, "No!"
That sounds sufficiently cheesy.
It's really, really strange. And it's all like he's looking out through a vent. I don't know. It's weird. The flashback's all audio.
How do you know? Oh no, it's a landslide. Oh no, we're being crushed. Oh no, we are the dead.
And now let me introduce you to Asian Dude. A monster swipes off Asian Dude's head. He had a scene or two earlier because he was in a room with Wheelchair Guy, like guarding the Ark, and they had a little bit of banter, but yeah. Asian Dude exists to get his head swiped off in one shot by a monster.
Rest in peace, Asian Dude. You were too beautiful for this world.
Poor Asian Dude. The Rock and Cute Dude give chase to the monster, which escapes, of course. The Rock tells Wheelchair Dude, who is now locked in alone with the Ark, to use a flash grenade or a pulse grenade, some big fancy kind of grenade, if anything breaks in, because they can't...
A big fancy grenade.
No. Big friendly giant. They can't let...
I'm so happy. So happy that worked.
They can't let any of these monsters get through the Ark and back to Earth. They can't risk that.
Yeah, makes sense.
So Creepy Dude is all pissed off about this because if the guy uses a grenade next to the Ark would get destroyed and there's no way for them to get home. So the Rock goes to the advanced weapons room and uses the severed hand from the very beginning of the movie to provide DNA verification, and he gets the BFG, which is so cartoonishly big. It's... Just imagine if instead of a giant gun, The Rock was just holding Andy Dick. That's about the size. Like, the Andy Dick compared to The Rock is not that big, but just The Rock holding him would look strange.
What a person to pick as a comparison, too. I listened to a podcast Andy Dick was on. He's a hell of a person.
He's an odd
terrible man.
Oh God!
Don't drink, kids.
A lot of people believe he's responsible for, or indirectly responsible for, Phil Hartman's death. Yep, good times. Okay,
he told John Lovitz he was.
Yeah. Well, that's what really makes him an asshole. Like, yeah, okay, maybe he gets his wife back on a cocaine bender, and that kind of sucks.
He's a gigantic asshole.
But yeah, when you take credit for it later is when you really are an asshole. So, Tough Dude's corpse gets up, and Scientist Lady and Black Dude are like, oh my god, what's going on? And Tough Dude, because he's got the power of Jesus on his forearm, bashes his own head in against the wall, killing himself as he's becoming demonified.
Oh, brother.
Because he's got the Spirit of Christ.
Right.
Meanwhile, Scientist Lady dissects the monster, revealing it's actually one of the missing scientists. Because they're like, oh, his appendix is missing. And oh, he's blood type B positive. I don't know what they fucking figure it out.
I think that's actually, that's how it happens in the game too, in fairness. I think they all turn into the demons.
Right, yeah. That makes sense. Okay, so Creepy Dude goes to take a shit, leaving... Oh, right, the other black dude. That. He hasn't died yet.
That. Hey, it's a movie and a video game, but yeah, he's got a shit. That's
yeah, that was fair.
Credit to him.
Well, and again, like the drug thing never goes anywhere. Like the whole time with Creepy Dude, and especially him like bitching about, well, how are we ever going to get back to Earth if we blow up the Ark? And The Rock is just like, we have orders to search and destroy all the monsters.
Oh my God.
We're Marines. We don't have to worry about our safety. We're following orders.
You have a really... That sounds nothing like The Rock, but that's a really good, like... Can you do a Toyota commercial in that voice? Talk about the Toyota F-150. Or that's a Ford. Talk about the Ford F-150.
Come on down to Barry's Auto. We have Ford F-150s for $27.99.99.
Dude.
They're big. They drive hard. They drive fast. You like beer. You like Brett Kavanaugh. He likes beer. You like beer. Drive a Ford. Vote Republican.
Isaac, I'm not kidding. That's really, really good radio voice. You might want to honestly consider using that for like a podcast or something.
I should just do commercials.
Yeah, really, you should.
How do you get into that? Just go to Ford and be like, "Hey, I can talk."
My favorite voice actor, he's in a bunch of anime, he does commercials and stuff. His name is Michael McConaughey. I don't know if his website still exists. He had a website with an FAQ, and the one question on it was, "Should I become a voice actor?" No. I don't believe they're very rich people.
Yeah, or you have to be one of like the 20 most talented in the world.
Yeah.
Billy West,
yes.
Famous from Futurama. He's good friends with Penn. He was on Penn's podcast a couple times. But and just listening to him shoot the shit and do this full crazy range of voices.
He must get sick of that.
And his talent's wild. So yeah. I mean, you have to just be able to do any kind of voice at any time.
Well, he's like half the voices in Futurama.
Oh yeah. Cuz he's Professor Farnsworth. He's Fry. I think he's Scruffy. And he's Zap Brannigan.
Oh yeah.
Zap Brannigan was going to be Phil Hartman, coming full circle. Look at that. So Billy West basically does his Phil Hartman impression. God, we're looking for anything besides this movie to talk about.
It's
Jesus
so
Christ.
dull. It's just fucking Space Marines.
Okay, so yeah, Creepy Dude. Okay, yeah. So the entire time, he's going to be the mutinous one, or he's going to be the one who tries to. Right. Yeah. No. All his creepiness and protesting doesn't go anywhere. So he goes to take a shit, leaving other black dude alone at his post. Other black dude gets ambushed by a monster, and there's a big fight in the holding cell with electrified walls. Some of the effects kind of look okay, but again, they use too much goddamn darkness. So Creepy Dudes...
Are the monsters all CGI?
No, I think it's mostly practical effects,
That's
honestly.
Kind of cool, at least.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard to tell because it is so dark. I mean, there's definitely some CGI, but most of the time it looks like practical effects. So Creepy Dude's in the toilet stall, and he radios in for reinforcements, even though The Rock ordered him not to. So that's where so he's kind of being mutinous, but like before anything comes of that, like he just radios in, and then he's instantly ambushed in the bathroom and killed. So there's no consequence of his mutiny.
No, or the drugs.
Fucking awful. The team brings the corpses of other black dude and Creepy Dude back to the lab. It turns out that the monster stuck in the nanowall is Studebaker, and we can tell this because it's missing an ear. Oh, look at that.
Good thing he cut off his ear then.
I know, yeah. Because when you see it in the beginning, you're like, why the fuck would he rip his ear off? I guess he's crazy, whatever. Oh,
Do they then go on to kill the monster on the wall?
Well, Scientist Lady is beginning to elaborate to The Rock, like, oh, the monsters are the scientists who got turned into the monsters, and we're not really sure what's going on, but the condition may be reversible. To which The Rock replies, the worst line of the movie, his condition is not reversible, because his condition is that he is dead. And then he shoots him in the mouth.
I thought you were going to say doom. His condition is doomed, and I was seriously going to get up and leave.
Oh, no, not quite that bad. And I don't really understand. So something cuts through the sealed-off vault-like door to the Ark room, and Wheelchair Dude has disappeared. But, the monsters seem kind of clumsy, and they don't really fight with weapons. They just are big Hulk and smash machines. I don't know how one of them gets a machine that we've never seen. They've never established, hey, we have this door-cutting device. But somehow it just cuts a hole in the door. Okay, so a monster has made its way through the Ark, and now they have to go back to Earth to try to kill it before it spreads to the rest of the planet.
When do they go to hell?
They don't go to hell.
Why don't they go to hell?
Alright, hell is in here. It's like Leo the Lion. It's in here all along.
I don't like that we're developing enough of a base of bad movies to be able to refer to old episodes enough. You know, is it told these monsters come from hell?
No, not really.
That's the entire point of Doom.
No, maybe it's like kind of loosely implied,
Mars
but it's definitely
just
not
like a place where they are for level 1 and maybe level 2. It's just basically a backdrop.
Nope, yeah, they never go to hell. And these are definitely not. They're not specifically labeled as creatures from hell.
Oh, fuck's sake! All right.
So they go back through the Ark to Earth. They're in the Nevada facility where the Ark thing is located. And a whole bunch of people have been killed at this facility, and the facility is in quarantine now. Cute Dude runs to save his sister. Right, they're still on Mars. The order's fucked up. Okay, so Scientist Lady has done some more research and found out that the monster only wants to infect certain people. Basically, it'll kill anyone in its way, but if you get the tongue thing to the neck, then it's trying to infect you. So, okay, they're back on Earth. The Rock is following his orders exactly, and they have to search and destroy, eliminate the threat. And now, because he knows that the monster's trying to infect some people, and some people can turn into even more monsters, they need to kill everybody inside the facility. So, Young Dude comes back to the group, says he's found a room with 20 or so unharmed women and children hiding. And The Rock orders him to go clear the room. Young Dude refuses, and The Rock shoots him in the throat.
Right.
Yep. Cute Dude and The Rock are angry at each other now, because Cute Dude was like, it was his first mission! And The Rock's like, orders! So they're about to fight, but then Wheelchair Dude gets got by a monster, and they go chasing after it, and they're all buddies again. But then a horde of zombies starts chasing them, and they have to withdraw behind a nanowall. Black Dude gets got through a metal grate in the floor, and we watch him get pulled down as the grate shreds him up in a big pile of blood, so that's pretty gross. The Rock gets his foot grabbed by the zombie horde and gets pulled through the nanowall. And as he's dragged to his doom, he yells, "I'm not supposed to die!" Which is kind of funny, even though it's dumb.
All right.
Ooh, boy. Cute Dude and
Scientist
dies? Lady.
Oh.
Yeah.
Seems anticlimactic.
We'll see.
Oh.
We'll see. Cute Dude and Scientist Lady find a safe place. Turns out Cute Dude has been hit with a bullet, even though the zombies weren't shooting guns. I don't know. Maybe friendly fire. I don't know. Scientist Lady gives him some medicine, and he gives her a grenade to defend himself. I don't know.
It's like Steve Carell from Anchorman, running around holding the pin and screaming.
Scientist Lady tries to inject Cute Dude with the 24th chromosome to make him either into a superhuman or into a monster. Okay, and that's... Okay, I haven't explained the science behind this yet.
So, science alerts coming out of your dick hole.
Okay, right, no, okay, so here... Okay. Yeah, and cute dude at first rejects. He was like, no, I don't want to be a monster. And he's like, no, you'll be fine, it's cool. I'm trying to convey the emotional feeling as accurately as I can.
Yep, all right. I'm on board.
So, yes. So, if you get the 24th chromosome, it can make you super healy, disease-immune superhuman. Or you'll be a horrible doom monster. And the difference depends on whether you have psychopathic tendencies lying dormant in the 10% of the human genome that is yet unmapped, which is where some people say is where the soul is. Science alert!
I was just about to ask.
And we're not even gonna get into where the soul might or might not be located, or they're probably referring to the colloquialism that we only know what 10% of the human brain does, which that's not true either. I don't know why they brought the genome up into it, but the science alert today is the human genome was fully mapped as of April 2003. April 14th, 2003 is when the project was completed and the human genome was fully mapped.
Yeah, wasn't it called the Human Genome Project?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I remember learning about that in school. You know what's
Yep.
I was worst at is science, and even I fucking knew it.
It started in 1990, before Doom the video game even existed. Wrapped April 14th, 2003. The first public announcement of the production of Doom the movie did not occur until November 2003. No excuse. God damn it.
Oh, God.
So cute dude wakes up, and scientist lady is gone. And apparently he's a superhuman, because he looks in the mirror and all his wounds have healed. And we know he looks in the mirror because it's now first person. And we get the, as you made claim to last week, very famous and beloved scene that is basically shot from the perspective of Doom Guy. And it is the movie version of a first-person shooter.
Now, I've heard it's actually not bad. I haven't seen it.
I didn't like it just because it feels jarring. Like, in a movie, it just seems out of place and it feels clunky. And I don't... Like, if I'm actually playing a first-person, I'm fine. I don't mind those visuals because I'm in control. I'm deciding to look left, so I'm expecting the camera to turn left. Just watching it made me feel kind of weird. I don't know. Like, it didn't make me nauseous, but I don't know. It just made me feel uncomfortable. Right. I don't know why exactly.
First of all, that makes you very happy for what's going to be coming your way soon. But second of all, there's a movie on Netflix now, and I remember it getting curiously a lot of attention for maybe a couple of weeks, called Hardcore Henry, which is also shot entirely in first person.
Oh, the whole movie?
Yeah, entirely. I don't think the main character talks. But I know it was a big thing for people would bring controllers into theaters. Because exactly what you said is that it was like sort of you kind of were able to cope with it easier if you were just fiddling with a fucking game controller in your hands. So that'd be kind of interesting. Because when I was looking up stuff for Doom the movie, when I first discovered it, I'd heard that's the one bit of praise I would see is about this first person scene, because apparently it's done pretty well for what it is in comparison. You know, people who are fans of Doom really liked it, even though the movie is shit. Nobody liked the movie. Yeah,
I'm sure technologically to pull it off, especially in 2005.
Yeah,
and it plays as one continuous shot for about 5 minutes. I'm sure they didn't actually film it like that. But it's well done. It looks kind of dated.
Sure.
You can tell a lot of the zombies are CGI'd and stuff like that. No real complaints. Like, it just didn't sit well with me. But I can tell why big fans of the video game would love this scene.
It's kind of,
just technologically, it's an impressive feat, especially of the era.
It's kind of interesting too as we get more into the VR era, where that's a big thing. So I don't know. I kind of want to see that just because it's the earliest example I can think of that sort of. You have things like the Blair Witch Project that are and Cloverfield, which are shot in that sort of shaky cam. Even Director's Cut had the fucking shaky cam, sort of like handheld cam thing. But I don't know. I find that kind of interesting that they actually, because it doesn't. I mean, fucking doing the movie was not shot like that before. It doesn't make any goddamn sense to be in first person now. I think it's interesting.
It's just
choice.
A nod to the gamers.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, and the fact that it's received so well, I kind of want to actually see it.
Yeah, and because of how crappily the movie really treated the game, i.e., they never went to hell at all. It just took so many liberties with the story. It's nice they did pay lip service to the fans by giving them this scene. I think you might be muted, sir. No, I was wrong the first time. I can't hear you at all.
There we go. I had a coughing fit and muted myself. All I said was right. My apologies.
Okay, it's all good.
We might need to cut that, though, just so it doesn't look
Nope,
ridiculous.
it's staying in.
All right. Well, I was muted because Isaac was sucking my dick.
Look.
And the talking you heard of him was me ventriloquating his voice. Ventriloquating. Fuck. Anyway, Doom, The Rock. He's the worst. He's the worst heavyweight champion of all time.
Yeah, so that goes on for a little while, and this is where we get a whole bunch of zombies and Doom monsters killing. You kill like 20 guys. I don't know, whatever.
Right.
Okay, so Cute Dude, we jump back out of first person into the regular movie. Cute Dude finds Lady Scientist, and I don't know, she sprained her ankle or whatever. She's like crawling on the ground.
Just like a lady.
Fucking slut. God damn it.
Jesus Christ.
Cute Dude tells her to crawl her pretty little ass over to the elevator. God damn it. The Rock shows up. He's not dead.
Oh,
except
shit.
He's got a wound on his neck. Oh, he's compromised. He's going to turn into a demon guy. Oh, fuck. But the quarantine is lifted because, as you know, when horrifying demon monsters invade from Mars, the quarantine naturally expires after an hour.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
The Rock's there. He'll solve this problem in like 15 minutes. The other 45 is just for cleanup and for him for his victory. Fuck.
So, God damn it. The end of the movie is just big fight scene between Cute Dude and The Rock, who is now neck, tongue wounded, demonified. I don't know. He's got a fucking Doom monster hickey on his goddamn neck.
It's hot.
Yeah. So they shoot at each other, and then they've both just disappeared from one another. That's how that works in every movie. Like the bad guys stare each other down, they both pull their guns and start shooting, and suddenly they're like 50 yards away from each other.
Yeah.
God, it's so stupid. So we see Scientist Lady crawling to the elevator with her sprained fucking whore of an ankle. Final fight scene. Cute Dude and The Rock, and there's so much hiding and sneaking and crawling and they drop their weapons and they go into hand-to-hand combat.
Of course they do.
It's as dumb as you can possibly imagine, with all kinds of flips and smashing through walls and jumping impossibly high up to like the next level of things. And all along there's the lamest.
You can't jump in Doom.
It makes it even better, Larry. Even better. It's this stupid churning heavy rock, like just drum heavy music. It's just like bland Metallica riffs.
I wonder if it's actually from the game.
Probably not, because it didn't sound, I don't know. Because isn't the music supposed to be pretty good, actually?
Yeah, the music's supposed to be good. I mean, I don't mean ripped from it directly. I mean, it could be like an adaptation. I believe you that it sucks.
I don't know.
I just praise for his music. I don't think it's, it is what it is. I'm not a huge fan.
Maybe the music is actually good, because I think as I'm getting older, too, I'm rejecting my, like, teenage, like, hard rock metal phase.
Yeah, I'm doing that hard.
Yeah.
I'm doing that real hard.
So, The Rock gets like a thin length of metal pipe and wraps it around his hand to make like a mega metal fist.
Okay.
Which he punches real hard with.
Yeah.
And
does he cock his fist? Does he do the Superman punch?
No, we're not.
Does he do any wrestling moves?
No.
Okay.
Would that make you feel better or worse?
No, I hate The Rock's wrestling moves.
Okay, good.
I have been pretty good about not talking about that much wrestling.
He does give us the demon's elbow.
No, he does not.
No, he does not. So, yeah, and part of the sharp metal on the end of his metal mega fist of punch death ends up stabbing Cute Dude's hand and is about to stab him in the neck. But then because Cute Dude can, like, heal, he, like, rips his hand out of it. And that's like, no big deal. It'll just heal in a minute. And then he shoves, or like, I forget how he does it, but like he sneakily tricks the Rock into falling into the Ark, which is like a big floating ball of gelatinous goo, which is the fast travel to Mars. So he warps the Rock back to Mars, and then a second later warps a grenade with the pin pulled back to Mars. So the Rock lands on his back in Mars and is like, no! And then the grenade shows up and he's like, no! And then it explodes, and the movie's over.
It's so fucking metal, dude! Ah! Does the movie just end then?
Yeah, cute dude and lady scientist ride the elevator to the surface, but that's it.
Oh.
We don't see them get out. They're just like, get in the elevator.
That's lame. Even for
and
I didn't
stick around to watch the credits, but according to the internet, as people's names are listed, they explode. But they only explode if they die in the movie, which is most of the people, except basically cute dude and scientist lady.
Yeah, because pretty much everyone else is dead.
And also they're brother and sister, so they can't, well, I mean, okay, legally they can't fuck. Morally, it's a little more ambiguous. Again, I got my whole thing with incest.
Yeah, I agree with you on most things, but I think we're on the opposite sides of incest the more I think about it.
It's tough because you got to be consenting adults, and that area is going to get blurred by a lot of unfortunate people.
Yeah. Too much. It should not be a prosecutable crime, but I also think we should never ever encourage it. Yeah,
it should be somewhat taboo. I'd say, like a foot fetish.
No, I'm okay with foot fetishes. Let's just forget it. Why are we talking about incest and Doom?
We are done talking about this movie.
Maybe, let's just assume that, so it's Schrodinger's elevator, right? You put a brother and sister in Schrodinger's elevator, you open it up, they're either going to be, he's going to be balls deep in her asshole, or they're just going to be, having a affectionate hug. Let's do the fucking ending. Do your goddamn fucking, where's my beanie?
We gotta, I don't have a thing.
Oh my god, really? You're slipping.
I know, I don't know. I can't pull bullshit out of these movies anymore. Or these two movies have just been so dumb. There's nothing to talk about.
Okay, this one was pretty dumb. That's the thing with like these horror movies where people die. There's like so little to go on. There's really not many,
and especially when it's just a meat grinder. too.
Yeah. There's not many good Space Marine movies at all. They're just They don't make good movies. They're great in video games. They make great video game stories. Like StarCraft is one of my favorite video games of all time. I'm terrible at it, but a third of it is about Space Marines. I would say the most famous Space Marine-y movie is Starship Troopers, which I think is a good movie, but it sucks. It's the best one of the genre, and I think its Rotten Tomatoes is in like the 60%. It's not. Have you ever seen it?
No.
It's weird. It's worth watching because it's definitely the best of the whole sort of like actiony space army movies. 100% unequivocally the best. But it's also not good because they just don't make good movies. They just don't. It's not It's not a good movie genre. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised there's no master's thesis. What the fuck are you talking about? The Rock? Being in The Rock?
Yeah. I should have just described The Rock in some of his matches. That would have been good.
Yeah, it would have.
Or just, like, in the master's thesis voice, just read one of The Rock's speeches, like, from WrestleMania or something.
Oh my god. Him talking about his pancakes and his fucking... He's got this, like, he travels around with this, like, fucking portable gym. And it's, by portable, I mean, it's a gigantic tent. And it's, like, it's, like, 2 tons or 6 tons of twisted steel and sex appeal. I hate The Rock.
Oh.
I really don't like the man. He seems like actually a cool human being. And I can respect him for his acting talent, which he did not have in 2005. But I hate the man. His stupid wrestling personality is just the worst.
Yeah. All right, well, that's pretty much all I have to say about Doom. And we should probably start looking towards the future. And I don't know if you knew what month we're in now, Larry, but this is October.
Yeah.
Which is the month of All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
Or Halloween, which means we're going to be watching some spooky movies.
Yeah, you asked me to pick a spooky movie for you, and you said you were going to pick one for me.
Picked a spooky one. I have a really good comedy horror that didn't look scary at all, and I want you to actually be scared and uncomfortable and miserable. So that's what's going on this week. But oh man. It's everything I think you'll hate about comedies and horror movies. It's going to be great. Anyway, but this week, next Sunday,
great,
the 20th, I believe, you'll be covering a recent horror movie. 20? No. Yes, you're right.
I know.
Because today is Saturday,
I'm aware.
not Sunday yet. Shut up. You'll be covering a recent horror movie. I think it came out in 2017. I know very little about it. Usually I try to do a little bit of research.
Man, I don't want to do this.
I've seen on Netflix, and I've seen like the evil character or whatever it is, and it looked interesting. And I tried to watch a few minutes randomly here and there, but I couldn't get any of the movie because every time I went, it was just like, oh, this is a standard horror movie scene in a parking garage where he's fleeing a monster. Oh, they're in a hallway fleeing a monster. So I have no idea what this is about at all. It's called Bedeviled.
Bedeviled?
Bedeviled.
Oh my god. Oh no. This thumbnail looks so scary.
Yeah, it's a guy with a little bow tie, right?
Oh god. I hate
Big
everything,
grin.
Isaac. Why?
Yep, it's spooky.
Oh, who hurt you? Why are you like this?
It's Halloween. I want you to be scared.
Yeah, okay. It's a guy in a ridiculous...
Honestly, Seamus has been emailing me and saying he really wants more hugs, and he figured the best way was to have you be really scared, and you need to hug him for moral support.
Yeah. I don't want to watch this twice. I don't want to watch it once. God damn it. God damn it.
What is the description even? I don't even know.
Okay, well, all right. One of the clips is just a little demonic teddy bear just running at him, and it's absurd. After a friend's untimely death, 5 teenagers receive invites to download a new app called Mr. Bedeviled that turns their nightmares into reality.
So, Freddy Krueger mixed with I Know What You Did Last Summer? It's weird.
Alright, as I talked about with Cabin Fever, which was not really scary in the slightest, I'm a real coward when it comes to horror movies. I don't like some at all.
This one should be a little more traditional horror.
It looks like all jump scares.
Yeah, you might have a few jump scares.
I don't want that.
Just hug the dog.
I don't want that at all. I gotta watch this in broad daylight and... Oh, man. I got you a horror comedy. I went the honorable route. I have a code of honor.
I don't know why.
I don't either. Man. So, what made you pick this one? Because, in fairness, it doesn't look any different than any other goddamn horror movies on here that are just generic schlock.
I really don't know.
Just a little bow tie? Ridiculous popped out eyes?
I had been going through, and the only horror movies I found that looked awful were comedy horrors. And again, I really wanted to scare you. So this is the first one I found that did not have good ratings. Looked like it could be terrible. And yeah, definitely was very stylized and was new and fresh. So,
oh my God. You're the worst.
I know it.
You're a piece of shit.
Oh boy. Now, Larry, what are you subjecting me to? You said a horror comedy?
Yeah, and it comes...
It's not by the Wayans brothers, is it?
It's like a horror sci-fi comedy. I think it's like a black comedy. No, and this one comes from jolly old England.
Jolly old England?
Shaun
of the Dead?
Yeah, you wish, bucko.
Yeah.
Across the pond, we have a little movie here called Hungerford. Hungerford. It's Hungerford, one word, which is a town in England.
Okay. A film student... I already don't like this because of that. Oh, no. A film student discovers that the rising violence in his town may be indicative of a sinister new reality. Oh, and you got the shaky cam.
Yeah, it's Blair Witch style handheld cam sort of. Yeah, didn't look good.
Don't like me no shaky cam.
I kept poking around in it. I'm just like, God, it's just British teenagers talking to one another. And I thought, oh, he'll
That's
hate
my
that.
favorite thing. I think you should pick a new movie because I love British teenagers talking to each other.
No.
No, it's my favorite.
No, that's.
I like it more than sex.
That's not the spookiest movie I saw on there, but it looked bad enough that you would hate it, which is what I want more than I want you to be scared.
Oh, well. It's... fuck you. But yeah. So we had a couple Halloween-themed episodes coming up. They should be interesting. We got Bedeviled next week and Hungerford, God, a couple weeks after that. So... And I think, I hope I have the energy to put it together, but I might try to make some spooky theme music.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
For a couple of Halloween episodes.
Yeah, because it will basically be on the 21st and the 28th. So,
yep.
We'll get one relatively close.
Mm-hmm. And we got to do this again for Christmas movies, I think, too.
Yes, we do.
Oh, I got to start planning. I got to get a good one.
Yeah, I've got a couple in mind.
Oh, God.
But we have to get through the goddamn... Oh, I hate scary movies, Isaac. I hate them.
I gotta check a date, and I can't say it on air, but I need to check, and then I can talk to you off air, and our listeners can be like, fuck, never mind. Great.
All right.
We just have to wait 6 years.
Oh, is that when the world's going to be destroyed? Is that the Mayan calendar coming to its second ending? All right, cool.
No. Mayan calendar is bullshit. It's the Samoan calendar.
Yeah, it's the next time The Rock's going to come back to win the WWE Championship. 6 years? Sounds about right.
Basically, Roman Reigns took his flabby Samoan boobie and dunked it in an inkwell and then just flopped it on a calendar. And where the nipple hit is the supposed the last day of days. So we'll discuss that off air.
Oh, God.
Man, thank you so much for listening. We love jerking each other around and jerking you around. And if you want to jerk us off, we'd be glad to have that happen. So do that on social media. That's on at Pals and Netflix.
18 or older, please. 22 or older preferred.
Just senior citizens only. All right. I can't forget. I got to dress up in all black with eyeliner and read The Raven.
Yeah.
Helpless old people.
You're going to get so much old woman tail. God, that is the worst description of a woman.
I wonder how much I could swing in an old folks' home.
You could pull a lot of steel wool, Isaac.
Oh, God. Now, I wonder how much fully willing, voluntary, lucid sex, obviously, but I wonder how much I could get in an old folks' home if I just walked in, like, with some cologne on.
Probably a lot. You probably remind people of a lot of grandsons.
So I'll dress up like Charlie Chaplin.
Just go and...
Pals and Netflix.
You're gonna get shot. Someone's gonna think you're Hitler.
That's why I have the hat.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah, that's all you need. And I'll do the walk. Like the goose step. Oh, wait, that was Hitler. Fuck. Keep getting them mixed up.
What's the difference?
Facebook and Twitter, those are at Pals and Netflix. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to send us an email in, balsandnetflix@gmail.com. If we like your email enough, we might read it on air sometime. That'd be pretty cool. So make sure to stay...
being a part of the episodes, Bowsers.
Yes, all of you lovely Bowsers out there. There is a surprising amount.
A better name. Yeah. We're over 1,000 downloads now, which is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. It's... people have listened to us speak for some reason or other.
Right?
So...
Let me ask you a question while we're on the air, because I've thought this. When I listen to the episodes, when you send it to me to pre-listen to them, after the editing team is done with them, does it feel like jerking off to listen to yourself talk about these movies?
Kind of.
Every time I listen to an episode of my own show, I feel like I'm jerking myself.
Yeah, I tell myself it's quality control, but I also tell myself that when I masturbate. I'm like, well, I should just, taste the goods and make sure they're still up to snuff. And I do it 3 times a day. So, anyway, what were we talking about?
We were ending the show. End my life.
Oh, God. But yeah, if you do like what we're doing here and you're having fun with us, make sure to rate and subscribe and tell a friend who's into podcasts that might like some of this crazy bullshit to check us out, because that'd be pretty cool. And thank you also to Kevin MacLeod, who we get all our lovely music from. You're probably listening to his Hyperfun in this bed right now. That's our closing music. I'm sure it's canoodling underneath. Yeah. It's a good feel. It adds just the right tone of silliness. Not that we needed more silliness, but it enhances the silliness.
Yeah, it works.
So, thanks to him. He's at incompetech.com. You can use his stuff for free as long as you give him credit. So if you have any creative projects you're doing, go ahead and do that. Oh, I was listening to, real quick, last podcast. I think it was the real episode, the latest episode, West Memphis 3. And one of the advertisements they used, I forget what the song was called, but it's the same song I used for Spaghetti de Coco reading from his diary, or his fucking novel.
They've used one of their songs for Dollar Shave Club, or for Dollar Shave Club. One of that shit was our opening theme before already.
Oh, right, I remember that too. So yeah, that's kind of weird to hear that out of context.
Yeah, it is.
It's very jarring. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week with Bedeviled. Larry's going to have a hell of a time. Keep him in your thoughts and prayers. We love you. Keep listening. Have a good night.
Smell you later. In hell! Or just on Mars.